have my own boat now, again, after all these years. And I just took my first voyage, and it was really kind of indescribable, but this sense of freedom and this like just sort of a release, being off the land again and onto the water. Once I got out into that great big open lake with that open horizon, it was exhilarating and like honestly just wanted to keep going. Once you leave the harbor, there's no turning back. I'd like to just go all summer long. My name is Andy Keith. I live in Grand Marais, just up the hill a little ways. And I've paddled on Lake Superior quite a bit. The first time was like 22 years ago when I paddled from Paradise Beach to the city of Quebec. A 3-month-long, summer-long paddle. I have to go to work tomorrow. I actually really don't want to. I want to just keep going. This boat, I can put 30 days worth of food and everything I need to survive for a full moon cycle in here. And I would like to just, that's a real sense of freedom. Being able to just be autonomous and self-sufficient with everything you need to go away for a month. Me and the waterfowl. Get out of that routines that we always get into, it's so easy to get into. Having to be somewhere in the morning, having to show up, having to be responsible. Somebody's waiting for you for some reason or another. But when you're out in your solo kayak and you're out on a body of water like Lake Superior, it's like all that stuff just kind of melts away into the background and you're just so present. You're in the wind, you're in the weather, you're the reflections on the water, the sounds of the birds flying nearby and waves splashing against your boat. It's just this mesmerizing, really musical. To me, I feel like it's probably the most enlightened experience I know. You travel all day on the water, but then at night you get off and you crawl onto the land and you sleep on the earth. You build a fire and you get this, you get the best of both worlds. You get this solid foundation at night for dreaming, but all day long you're just in this other liquid world, and it's in my opinion, it's the best way to travel. There's nothing better. I mean, sailboats are great, but you don't get that earth experience. Bicycles are great, but you don't get that liquid experience, Walking is great, but there again, you're bound to just like one terrain. So this is the ideal craft for traveling, in my opinion. So let's go. So many memories. Day after day, following this shoreline, all the way to the other side. It all really started because when I was 19 years old, I canoed down the Mississippi River. When I was canoeing down the river, I realized that from Minnesota, there's a really unique situation where 3 major watersheds all drain out of Minnesota and all go to 3 different oceans, if you will. The Mississippi goes to the Gulf of Mexico, and then across the divide, up and over the hill, there's another watershed that goes north to Hudson Bay. And then near that, there's another watershed that goes out the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean. So how did I get into kayaking? It started with a canoe trip, which then I realized there was these other watersheds to paddle down in Minnesota. And so I went to Hudson Bay next with a friend of mine like 10 years later. And then I realized, well, if I'm ever going to do this Great Lakes watershed, canoes are not the best boat for that. Kayak is way superior, if you will. And so we bought kayaks and practiced and got skilled enough to where we felt confident to just take off. That desire was pulling at me, just being out there for an hour now. So, but the good thing is I have a boat and I have a beach. I have a place I can launch. I can get back out there now whenever I want. So that's a real satisfying freedom for me.